All right, I'm gonna do another video and I'll try to shorten it. So this is kind of where I ended up, was here, but I'm gonna undo to where I pasted it. Let's see. So this is how it was pasted, right? So it's got some more formatting stuff going on here, which makes it so it won't work. But the thing that's also going on here is this won't work either. So I'm going to try and explain this the best I can, because this is kind of like a crash course into modules and breaking things up into different files and stuff and organizing, apps and programs that get pretty large. So first I want to fix the formatting, and when I went through this, there was a couple brackets that were missing. So I'm going to add the brackets. So it will, let's see, oh yeah, and then that doesn't work. So what we're doing here basically is we're pulling out these two functions into its own file, and then we're going to import it into your main file here, right? So that's so we can use it in different places in the app and stuff. So I mentioned in text that it looks like the sorry, my dog is being an itchy boy. Yeah, it looks like add inventory is kind of half implemented so far. So it looks like it only covers the case of like if you have more than your max inventory size, and if you have less, so like you kind of need an else that just does inventory dot push and then pushes the the item that's passed. I don't know if that's exactly what you want, but that'll accomplish that. And then you have display inventory here, which is just going to read the variable and kind of log it out to the console. So what was going on earlier. So the thing that you want here is module.exports is basically telling JavaScript that this file is exporting these things. And you can export all kinds of types of things. So you could export a string here. You can export an array of things. Wait, that might actually be true. Oh no, so that might not actually be true. But you can, what we're definitely doing here, let's just stick to that. I'll have to double check that. I'm pretty sure I've exported different kinds of things from my files. But if not, there's probably a package out there that does it. And if not, then a bundler will do it. Anyways, so what we're exporting here is a object of functions that will then import or require in our index file or whatever file is called for you. So we're exporting the add to inventory function here, but we're not exporting the display inventory function. So this is a neat little thing that is new in newer JavaScript. This is just interpolating this thing directly and passing it. So basically, we're going to export these two things, and then in your file here. So I just added a new require here. This is called destructuring. We're destructuring from an object. This is kind of the equivalent of doing this. You could do this, and then the way to use it, you would do inventory dot display inventory, and that is how you would use it. So like this is just basically a little syntax sugar over the top of that. So instead of having to do this, when we do constant, the object bracket, and then the two names, that means we can just use them directly without having to do inventory dot. Kind of figured I'd want to call that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to require this file that we created in inventory.js, which is over here on the left for me. and we're requiring and importing basically these two functions that we've created over here, right? So add to inventory and then display inventory. And then we'll go through and call display inventory at the places that we needed to display the inventory. So at the top of the display menu function, currently, how it is, display menu, we'll call display inventory. And then further down, we'll call display inventory when it's explicitly asked. And then, this is incorrect. So, and other places in the function. So I'm gonna fix this actually. Instead of display inventory, this should be add to inventory. So before, I believe this was a push. So it was like leader inventory, I think it was, .push cherry. But instead of that, we're going to refactor that out to add to inventory. So what this does is it's going to invoke this function, with this argument, which is item here. And then basically kind of how I implemented it quickly, like you saw. I don't know how this is exactly how they want it, but inventory.push the item, and that just kind of pushes it into the thing. So where's the other one? We want this. So now you're calling that function, and that's because inventory over here is in a different file. It's no longer accessible to you. You can't read this variable. So that's why you kind of have basically just created like getters and setters. This is your getter, and this will be common like programming technology or terminology that you'll hear. So like what you're doing is you're encapsulating the inventory stuff into its own file, and it's all managed by inventory.js. It's no longer managed by this file over here. And because of that, this variable inventory is private. You can't access that from over here. So in order to access it, in order to get it, you created a function that just reads that variable basically, and then you export that function so you can read the variable, but you can't modify it or anything from that. And these are ways like how you want to structure your program, like whenever you're doing this in the future for an app or something. Like these are very explicit methods of like, hey, I really don't want this variable to be messed with, but here's how you can read it. But in this case, we also want to be able to mutate this variable and add to it. So we create another function which does exactly that, which allows us to be able to call this and then pass whatever we want to be added to the item's inventory. And I think if we run this, this should, let's see, should work, right? Oh no, I messed up. But anyways, I don't want to even kind of pick that apart to see what's up. But the main point here is how this module works and like what the goal is. It's basically to make this file to stop managing, like this file here on the right side, to stop managing the inventory variable and stuff. So the things that you were missing from what's in the gist here is the formatting and stuff. And then also the module that exports, and also finishing off how add to inventory should work, I think. Because it only handled the first case of hitting the max items. That's kind of the gist here. I'm sure there's gonna be more questions, so hit me with them.